Have you ever stopped to think that maybe you're losing every single day without even realizing it? While you're there thinking you're playing it right, being the nice guy, doing your part, there are people using you as a ladder, and worse, you're allowing it yourself. The truth hurts, but it needs to be said. Most people live their entire lives without understanding the rules of the game they're playing. They cooperate when they should retaliate, trust when they should question, and then wonder why relationships crumble, why people take advantage of them, why it seems like everyone does well except them. And you know what's crazier? The solution isn't to become a jerk. It's understanding that there's a mathematical pattern, scientifically proven, that explains exactly how to win without destroying anyone in the process. Here's a truth nobody tells you. Being nice doesn't make you noble, it makes you predictable. And predictable people get manipulated. But being aggressive doesn't work either. You might win a battle, but you lose the war because everyone becomes your enemy. So what's the way out? How do you protect your interests without becoming what you hate? How do you build real relationships in a world full of people playing dirty? The answer lies in an experiment that completely changed how scientists understand human behavior, and it can change your life if you pay attention for the next few minutes. Because what you're about to discover isn't empty philosophical theory. It's tested, proven strategy that works in relationships, business, family, career, in literally any situation where you need to deal with other people. And look, I know you've probably heard thousands of pieces of advice about how to relate better, how to win at life, that kind of thing. But I bet nobody ever showed you the science behind it, never explained why certain attitudes work and others sink you. In this text, you'll understand the exact moment when the game reveals its true face. That point where you discover whether you're building or destroying your future with each choice you make. And more importantly, you'll learn to play in a way that puts you in control without needing to step on anyone, without needing to be fake, but also without being that sucker everyone uses and discards. Because the truth is simple. Either you understand the rules, or you're used by those who do. And after today, you'll know exactly how to play to truly win. Imagine the scene. You share an apartment with someone, and at first everything seems to work. You agree on the basic rules of living together. Everyone washes their own dishes. Everyone takes care of their own space. Simple, right? But then, one fine day, you come home tired and find that pile of dirty plates in the sink. They're not yours. And the next day, the pile grows. And the day after, it becomes a mountain. It's at this moment that you realize the silent agreement that sustained household peace just collapsed, and now you're facing a choice that seems silly, but will determine the climate of your home for the next few months. The first reaction is natural. Anger, frustration, that urge to leave everything as it is just to see how far the other person will go with their nerve. But then comes the dilemma. If you don't wash, the kitchen becomes chaos. If you wash, you're basically taking on the role of unpaid housekeeper. And worse, you're showing the other person that they can slack off because there's always someone to clean up the mess. It's an invisible trap, one of those we fall into every day without noticing. The living situation, which seems so calm, transforms into a minefield of strategic decisions. And it's exactly at this point, at this crossroads between cooperating or retaliating, that one of the deepest lessons about human behavior resides. Because those dirty dishes aren't just dishes. They're a mirror of our relationships, our values, our capacity to trust and be trustworthy. What do you do when the other person breaks the agreement? How do you react when you realize you're being taken advantage of? These apparently simple questions carry within them the secrets of cooperation, selfishness, and how we choose to play the game of life. And believe me, everyone's playing, even without knowing it. What happens in that messy apartment is much more than a simple domestic fight. It's a perfect representation of the famous prisoner's dilemma, one of the most fascinating concepts in game theory. Think with me, you and your roommate are each facing a decision. Cooperate, wash the dishes, maintain the agreement, or cheat. Leave the mess for the other person. If both cooperate, everyone wins. The house stays clean, living flows smoothly, nobody accumulates resentment. But if one cooperates and the other doesn't, whoever cooperated gets screwed, becomes a sucker, while the other surfs on someone else's goodwill without lifting a finger. Now comes the interesting part. If neither cooperates, both lose. The kitchen becomes a repository of grimy dishes, the smell takes over, and the relationship collapses along with the hygiene of the place. It's a destructive cycle where each person's selfishness generates a worse result for everyone. And here lies the big question that game theory puts on the table. Our choices don't exist in a vacuum. They depend on what the other person will do, and what the other person does depends on what they think you'll do. It's a strategic dance where trust and rational decision meet. Sometimes they embrace, sometimes they slap each other. This same pattern repeats everywhere. In traffic, when you decide to give way or cut someone off. At work, when you share valuable information or keep it to yourself. In relationships, when you open up or hide what you feel. Humanity lives in this constant tension between cooperating and protecting their own interests. And the fascinating thing is that most of the time we don't realize we're playing this game. We only feel the consequences. Relationships that work or crumble, environments that prosper or sink into distrust. And it all starts with a choice that seems small, but carries the weight of the world. Game theory is, basically, the science that studies how we make decisions when the outcome depends not only on what we do, but also on what others do. It sounds complicated, but it's really the kind of thing you already do every day without realizing it. When you choose which line to enter at the supermarket, when you decide whether to ask your boss for a raise, when you negotiate with the used car salesman, all of this is game theory in action. It's the mathematics of strategy, the map that shows how human interactions work when everyone has their own interests and needs to deal with others' choices. What makes this stuff so powerful is that it literally applies to everything. Companies use it to set prices and compete in the market. Think of the fight between Coca-Cola and Pepsi, each trying to guess the rival's next move. Politicians use it to build alliances and negotiate votes. Entire countries base their international relations on these principles. The Cold War was basically a giant game of who blinks first. And on a personal level, game theory explains why some marriages last decades while others explode in months, why some friendships are unshakable and others melt at the first crisis. There are two main types of games: cooperative and non-cooperative. In cooperative games, everyone works together and negotiates agreements that benefit the group, like when you and your friends decide to split the barbecue bill fairly. In non-cooperative games, everyone plays for themselves, trying to maximize their own gain even if it means the other person loses. Think of a salary negotiation, where you want the maximum possible and the company wants to pay the minimum. The secret is understanding which game you're playing, because strategies change completely. And here comes the kicker. Life is rarely just one or the other. Most of our human relationships mix cooperation and competition, trust and calculation, generosity and strategy. To help you understand this in practice, let me tell you about a British TV show called Golden Balls that became a true laboratory of human behavior. At the end of the game, two participants face each other with a pile of money in the middle, sometimes £50,000, sometimes more. Each has two balls in hand, one with the word split and another with steal. If both choose to split, the money is divided equally and everyone leaves happy. But if one chooses to split and the other steals, whoever stole takes everything and the other leaves with nothing, looking like an idiot in front of the entire country. And if both steal, nobody takes anything. Zero. The production thanks them and everyone goes home empty-handed. What makes this show fascinating is watching people's reasoning in real time. You see people sweating, making promises, swearing on their mother that they'll split, looking into each other's eyes trying to detect lies. The dominant strategy, the one that seems most rational from an individual point of view, is always to steal. Why? Because if the other person is going to split, you take everything by stealing. And if the other person is going to steal, at least you don't come out looking like a fool. In any scenario, stealing seems like the safest decision. But here's the problem. If everyone thinks this way, everyone steals and everyone loses. It's the perfect illustration of how individually rational decisions can lead to collective disaster. There's a famous episode where a guy simply announces he's going to steal, without hesitation, leaving the other person in shock. He looks firmly and says, "I'm going to steal. There's no point trying to convince me, but if you split with me, we'll divide the money outside the show later." The other person is completely lost. After all, if the guy already announced he's going to steal, what's the point of splitting? In the end, she split, he stole. But then comes the twist, he had lied. He also chose to split. It was a masterstroke, a way to control the game through pure psychology. And this shows something crucial. Game theory isn't just cold mathematics, it's also about reading people, about trust, about how we build or destroy bridges in seconds of decision. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Life isn't an episode of golden balls. You don't play once and that's it, it's over. In real life, you'll encounter the same people again. You'll need to deal with the consequences of your choices. You'll build a reputation based on how you play. That work colleague you backstabbed today could be your boss tomorrow. That friend you let down could be exactly who has the connection you need in 2 years. Interactions repeat, intertwine, create a web where each thread pulls another. And that's exactly why the strategy changes completely when the game has no set ending. When you know you'll play again, cooperation starts making more sense. Because if you cheat today, the other person will remember tomorrow. If you help today, you create an emotional debt that can return as support when you need it most. Life becomes a sequence of interconnected games where your actions from yesterday shape today's possibilities, and your choices today draw tomorrow's map. It's like planting, you don't harvest on the same day you sow. But if you never plant, you'll never have anything to harvest. Learning happens over time, and the evolution of human relationships depends on this ability to see beyond the immediate moment. And then a deep reflection arises about what it means to win in life. Because if the game were single play, maybe it would make sense to always be aggressive, always selfish, always thinking only about immediate profit. But when you realize you're playing for the long term, that each interaction is a piece of a giant puzzle called your life, everything changes. The responsibility for your choices gains different weight. You begin to understand that losing a battle might mean winning the war, that giving in today might be an investment to harvest later. And this is the turning point where mature people separate from immature ones. The ability to see that the game never ends and that each round matters. In the 1980s, a political scientist named Robert Axelrod decided to test a question that would change our understanding of cooperation and human behavior. What's the best strategy when you play the repeated prisoner's dilemma? He created a tournament where programmers from around the world sent algorithms, automated strategies, to compete against each other in thousands of rounds. There was everything. Aggressive strategies that always betrayed, naive strategies that always cooperated, complex strategies with sophisticated mathematical formulas. And you know which one won? The simplest of all, created by psychologist Anatol Rapoport, called tit for tat, or in plain English, an eye for an eye. The beauty of this strategy lies in its brutal simplicity. In the first round, you cooperate. After that, you simply do what the other person did in the previous round. If they cooperated with you, you cooperate with them. If they betrayed you, you betray back. It's a strategy that combines initial kindness with immediate justice, forgiveness with firmness. It's not aggressive, it never attacks first. But it's also not foolish. It doesn't let betrayal slide. And most fascinating, it's clear. The other player quickly understands the pattern and realizes that cooperating is better for everyone. It's as if the strategy teaches others to play fair, rewarding those who cooperate and punishing those who cheat. What Axelrod discovered revolutionized how we understand human relationships. The winning strategies had 4 characteristics in common. They were kind, never attacked first, retaliated against injustices, responded to betrayals, forgave, returned to cooperating when the other returned, and were predictable. The other understood the rules of the game. Very aggressive strategies created endless cycles of revenge where everyone lost. Very passive strategies were exploited to death. But tit for tat? It found the perfect balance between strength and cooperation, between trusting and protecting yourself. It was mathematical proof that being good, but not foolish, isn't just grandma's wisdom. It's the most efficient evolutionary strategy that exists. What Axelrod's experiment revealed goes far beyond numbers and algorithms. It showed that there's a deep moral dimension in strategies that work. True power isn't in dominating the other person, in being the smartest or most aggressive. Power lies in cooperating first, in extending your hand before closing your fist, in believing in humanity until it proves otherwise. But, and here comes the essential balance, it's also in responding with firmness when necessary, in not letting people walk all over you, in showing that kindness isn't synonymous with weakness. It's the philosophy of be good, but don't be a fool translated into scientific strategy. You offer trust, but demand reciprocity. The big insight is understanding that forgiving isn't the same as forgetting or accepting. When you apply tit for tat in real life, you're saying, look, I prefer that we cooperate, but if you betray me, you'll feel the consequences. And if after that you want to get back on track, I'm willing to try again. It's a type of compassionate justice where you don't hold eternal grudges, but you also don't become a doormat. Think about a relationship. If your partner hurts you and you simply swallow it and pretend nothing happened, you're teaching that they can hurt you again. But if you point it out, establish boundaries, and then give a new chance when the attitude changes, you're building mutual respect based on awareness and responsibility. On the other hand, purely aggressive strategies, those that always attack, that only think about winning at any cost, create what we call cycles of revenge. You betray me, I betray you worse, you retaliate with more force, I respond with violence, and so on until both are destroyed. It's the pattern of wars, litigious divorces, family fights that cross generations. Everyone loses, but nobody can stop because selfishness blinds the vision of the long term. Redemption is only possible when someone has the courage to break the cycle, to cooperate even after being hurt, to bet on the possibility of change. And then, when this happens, something magical emerges. Trust is reborn, and with it, the possibility of winning together instead of losing alone. In the end, life is exactly this. An infinite sequence of interconnected games where each decision you make today plants seeds that will sprout tomorrow, next week, 10 years from now. There's no isolated match. That difficult conversation you had with your boss, it influences the next promotion. That favor you did for the neighbor can come back as help when your car breaks down in the rain. That moment when you chose to be honest even though you could lie, builds a reputation that opens doors you didn't even know existed. Actions accumulate, create patterns, define who you are in others' eyes and, more importantly, in your own eyes. The game of life has no final score. It unfolds in layers, in cycles, in seasons that come and go. And here lies the great key turn that separates those who evolve from those who keep spinning in the same place. Winning isn't about crushing the opponent, isn't about accumulating more points than everyone else, isn't about proving you're the smartest in the room. Winning is understanding that the game is infinite, that human relationships are the real treasure, and that intelligent cooperation generates more wealth, emotional, social, even financial, than any predatory strategy could ever achieve. When you understand this, you stop seeing people as obstacles or competitors and start seeing them as potential partners. You develop empathy not because you're naive, but because you're strategically brilliant. True mastery lies in balancing all these elements. Being kind without being a fool, being firm without being cruel, forgiving without forgetting, cooperating without erasing yourself. It's maintaining awareness that each choice carries weight, each interaction shapes the future, each gesture of reciprocity strengthens the social fabric that sustains you. Humanity got here not because the most aggressive one, but because those who knew how to cooperate intelligently built civilizations. And you? Are you playing to win a round or to build a life worth living? Are you seeking control over others, or are you learning to create value together with them? Because in the end, the game continues, choices multiply, and the legacy you leave isn't how much you won, but how many bridges you built and how many people got further because they crossed your path. So, after everything you just learned, answer me something with total honesty. How many times have you screwed yourself by trusting too much? How many times have you let situations pass where you should have reacted, established boundaries, shown you're nobody's doormat? And on the other side, how many times have you destroyed relationships because you were too aggressive, because you wanted to win at any cost and ended up losing the person? The reality is that most of your life's frustrations, in relationships, at work, in the family, come from not knowing how to play this game. And now that you know the strategy, now that you understand there's a path between being a sucker and being a jerk, the question that remains is, are you going to apply this or continue repeating the same mistakes? Because look, knowledge without action is just entertainment. You can find all this interesting, super cool, awesome, and tomorrow be making exactly the same screw-ups as always. Or you can wake up and decide that from today things will be different. That you'll cooperate first, yes, but you'll demand reciprocity. That you'll forgive, yes, but you won't forget or pretend nothing happened. That you'll build relationships based on mutual respect, where kindness and firmness walk hand in hand. This decision, this moment right here and now, will determine whether you continue being a piece in other people's games or if you finally take control of your own life. So I ask you again, are you ready to play for real, or will you keep just watching? And if you made it this far, if these ideas made sense to you, then you need to subscribe to this channel now and turn on notifications. Why? Because this is just the beginning. There's much more about human behavior, strategy, decision-making, and how to apply all this in practice to truly transform your life. It's not empty motivational talk. It's dense, real content that gives you real tools to deal with the world as it is, not as you wish it were. So click that button, activate the bell, and continue this journey with me. Because the game doesn't stop, the rounds continue, and the more you understand how it works, the more chances you have to finally win. Not against others, but together with those who are worth it. Let's go.